Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. For anyone new here, my name is Alana and today's video is highly requested by lots of you over on my Instagram page and lots of you over here on my YouTube channel, and that is to share some tips on things that you can do or try to make your curls last as long as possible. Now guys, I just want to put a really quick disclaimer in before I get into this video. Everything that I share, I'm not saying that this is going to make your curls last for days and days on end. I'm just sharing what's worked for me. Everyone's hair type is different, so different things are going to work for different hair types. However, these are all tips that if you're not doing, you should be doing, because if you're not doing these things, then the likelihood of your curls lasting is very slim. It's definitely worth having watched this video, trying some of these for yourself and seeing if it helps. Let's just get straight into it. Okay guys, tip number one, and this might seem like a little bit of a self-explanatory tip, but then I go over to like TikTok and Instagram and I see girls not doing this, and then I'm like, I feel like a lot of people will be copying that, and then that's probably not going to help in getting their curls to last longer. But that is, make sure that you take a fair section of hair. And by that I mean, if you're using the thick curl and barrel, you can get away with taking a little bit of a bigger section of hair, but still make sure it's a fair section. If you're taking a really big chunk of hair, it's going to like overflow on the barrel, and then so all the hair in that section of hair isn't going to get curled. So make sure you're taking a fair section of hair depending on the size of the curling barrel you use. You do not want it to be too big, and you can never go too small, because the smaller you go, probably the more defined the curl is going to be, and then the longer it's going to last. So experiment with going like even smaller sections. I know it will take longer, but it might save you a lot of time in the long run. Okay guys, tip number two, and now this tip that I'm sharing, I have found this to be my own personal experience. However, I have had a lot of you over on Instagram and here on YouTube say that you found that the opposite works for you. So this is kind of like two tips in one, and you just got to experiment and see what works best for your hair. So for me, I always make sure that my hair is damp before I curl it. And I mean each section. I don't just dampen the whole hair, because by the time I get around to like the top section, it'll be dry again. Each section, I dampen it. But like I said, a few people have said that they've found that their hair actually styles a little bit better with the curling barrels whenever their hair is dry. So try it whenever you dampen your hair, and also try it with your hair dry and see what works best for you. Tip number three, I always make sure that I give my hair a good, generous brush before I style it. And I don't just mean the whole head of hair, I mean each section. And I do that for two reasons. The first reason is that whenever I spray the product first and then brush, I'm actually brushing the product all through the hair. So it's working all through that section of hair and not just the little bits that I spread the product on. So it distributes the dampness, it distributes the benefit of the product. The second reason is you want to make sure that you have no knots in your hair whenever you're using the curling barrels. That's just going to allow a smoother curl. If you don't brush your hair, then it means you're going to have to brush your hair after you curl it. Now, I personally always brush my hair after I curl it, because I like that brushed out curl look. But if you're someone who really likes big defined curls, and if you do want them to last longer, you don't want to brush them out. Therefore, you want to make sure you've got all your knots out prior to styling. Okay, this is quite an important tip, and one that a lot of people overlook, and that is to create tension whenever you're curling the hair. So as you can see, I'm like rolling the barrel like back and forth. That's just to allow the hair to like tighten around the barrel. Creating that tension is just going to help really like solidify in that curl. You want to like constantly be pushing away from the hair, not so that it's hurting your head, but so that actually the barrel can move up and down. And that's how you'll know you're creating tension, because you'll feel the tension as you're like trying to pull the barrel back down the hair. And you want to do that all the way up. Another way to really help you create tension is by holding the hair above the barrel. You can see that I'm doing that here. That also just helps you to create tension. And you want to make sure you hold that tension throughout styling that curl. Okay guys, the next tip is creating the curl and setting the curl. And what I mean by that is you create the curl by using the hot shot. And you want to try and use the hottest setting if you can. Once you've got to the root, you want to hold that for at least 10 to 15 seconds with the warmest setting that you can handle. And then you want to set the curl with the cold shot. And again, you want to be doing that for at least 10 to 15 seconds. Which brings me nicely on to my next point. You want to make sure that you're turning off your Airwrap before you release the curl. Now, I know there's this kind of like trend going around social media at the minute that's like, you know, the tornado curl where people aren't switching off their Airwrap, but that curl is not going to last as long than if you turn off your Airwrap, because all you're doing is actually loosening the curl by doing that like tornado effect. It's not like holding the memory of that lovely big beautiful, juicy, smooth curl. I feel like people feel like that like takes up extra time. It doesn't add on any more time, okay? As you know, if time is your issue, you should not have bought an Airwrap because it takes time to get the grips with it, which is why I created a Dyson Airwrap course, which is an A to Z course to teach you how to use your Dyson Airwrap to its fullest potential. I have lots of tips and tricks and tutorials and lots more tips on how you can get your styles to last longer. I'll make sure I have that linked in the description if you don't want to spend loads of time going through TikToks, Instagrams, YouTube videos, if you just want it all in one place. Just plug that so seamlessly there. I didn't even plan that. That just happened. Okay guys, this next tip is on a product. I was a little bit reluctant to include a tip that promoted a product because I'm really aware that because a product works on my hair doesn't mean it's going to work on your hair and vice versa. I don't want anyone wasting their money, but I'm just going to share a product with you that I have found recently really helps my curls last longer. And this is so funny because I've actually had this product in my drawer for a year now, and I only ever used it once, and whenever I used it I washed my hair straight away the next day because I had loads of hairspray and stuff in it and I wanted to wash it out. So I didn't actually know the benefit of it, but I used it a few months ago and I was like, why have I just been sitting on this product? That is the Nail and Wolf Enhance Volumizing Mousse. It says this is for all hair types, but the only hair type I can speak to is my own hair type. This is a mousse and I put this in my hair whenever it is wet and then I style it, and that's the end of that story. I will link this in the description. It is not sponsored. This is just a recommendation of something that I found works for my hair. That's not to say that it's going to work for your hair, but I just wanted to include it because I love it and hopefully some people will find that it does work for their hair. Okay guys, that brings us to the end of this video. I really hope that some of these tips work for some of you out there. Please let me know if they do. And also if you have any great tips, please comment below so we can share them with the rest of the community and you can all go on and read the comments and maybe get some tips of each other. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy it, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe to my channel. I'll be sharing lots more useful videos and I will see you next time.